It's no problem at all. Carlos, it's yeah, I don't. What is it? The time there is it's 9 o'clock, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And where are you? You're in London.
Yeah, I'm based here in London since 2 years ago. So yeah, I think it's I don't know where are you based actually.
In the honest answer is Potsdam, but the cooler answer is close to Berlin.
Oh right.
Yeah, in Germany anyway. Yeah. We're on the outskirts. We are like a half an hour from the center of Berlin.
I've been in Berlin. I think there's
Yeah.
well, it blew me away. It's so beautiful, man. Some people say it's a little bit dark and moody, but I found it beautiful, that city. You know, maybe because the surround, because the art, you can feel the vibe in the city. It's pretty wild. I love them. Yeah, definitely.
It is kind of like one big Shoreditch almost. It's like, you know, it's where London's got like pockets of cool. This is it tends to be the whole place is a little bit like that. So, if that's your thing, it's really cool. Yeah, but there are some really beautiful parts for sure. I mean, you've got the river flowing through it and whatnot. I guess a bit like London as well, and but culturally as well. There's so much going on. It's just insane.
Yeah. Well, so far it's been 2 years here in London. It's incredible, man. I love this city. It's beautiful. I mean, since I came here, I start to notice like the much of a opportunity we have here in London. The vibe, the people. Also in terms of gigs, plenty of gigs, music around. Just it's amazing.
Are you?
Yeah. Say. Tell me.
No, I was going to ask, like, are you like, what sort of music are you into? Is it quite like thrash metal? Is that your thing?
It could be. It's one of the genre for sure. I love thrash metal. I love doom. I love heavy metal. In general, I love rock, but also I love jazz music. I love electronic music. Also, I'm kind of depend on the day how I feel it. It's just going towards to something like music, heavy, super, you know, sad and mood and dark, or I can go just listen reggae, super happy and enjoy the life with a sunny rise on my face. It could be whatever, but definitely I'm leaning towards to heavy. Definitely, if I can just measure, I would say 70% is heavy. Yeah.
Like what sort of bands are we talking about?
For example, I'm listening a lot Windhand. That's how hopefully I pronounce really well. I don't know. And also Electric Wizard. That's one of my key as well. It's super heavy, it's super dark. Also, maybe I don't know if you know this band Gojira. I think they are French guys. I'm not sure.
No.
This kind of a type of music is my thing, definitely.
That's your jam, is it? That's your vibe.
Yeah, actually, it's something interesting because music for me is really important, massively important. When I'm working, I need the music to keep the focus on. I cannot be just without music, listening to ambient music or whatever's going on around me. I need the music to keep me on track, to keep me awake and focusing. Sometimes I'm not even listening to music; it's just on the background. But I
know what you mean.
It's kind of area, the zoom, the brain, which is my brain is working and just non-stop in the flow, basically.
I'm exactly the same as well, and I like, for me, music is really, really important. But I'm not really into the proper thrash metal. It's not really my vibe, but music in general is. I mean, apart from that, I'm pretty open-minded, but it's crazy important to me. I'm a big music fan. It's like a lifelong frustration, really, that I'm not a musician of some description. It's.
Do you ever try to play any instrument, something?
I play a little bit of guitar, and and yeah, that's but you know, it's more. I mean, it's there and it's hanging on the wall, and I play it virtually every day. Not very well, but it's like it's my thing. It's my release, and I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's something incredible. I used to play a drum in the band in Spain. I had a small band
Yeah.
of instrumental 70s vibe stoner music. So I was the
Yeah.
drummer, obviously, and it kept me focusing music for almost 3 years with the band. You know, doing some gigs here and there in Spain. It was beautiful. But so far, it's just, yeah, I think I'm focusing more in CGI stuff rather than music because I found the
Yeah.
music really difficult. Also, I started
Oh
super
yeah.
super late. I think I started with 25 years old, the drum,
Yes.
so it wasn't it wasn't good, to be honest. But I always try my best, and the most important thing is I had a lot of fun because music in the end is so much fun. You can go deeper,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a huge thing, music, but always I'm taking as a release or just as a fun, but no, never as a serious thing to focus on or do a living from music for sure. No, it's something like a beyond of my brain. Like I don't understand these guys playing in bands and playing some really music things. Like yeah, it's not for me. I really enjoy it. I would love to be, that gift to play around with. Could be guitar or drum or violin, piano. I don't know, but always I feel like I'm kind of a clumsy in that way. So yeah,
Yeah, that's a difficult thing. I think, like, a few years ago when I was still living in the UK, me and some friends used to get together and we played together, and there was a couple of us on guitar and another guy on bass, and there was once or twice there was a guy on drums, and it was like so much fun. Um, Probably very shit, but a lot of fun. And I think the thing is now, I would love to. I still my life ambition is still to be in a band. Like even if I'm like 60 or 70 years old, I don't care with my homeboys. But I need to find a group of people that I feel comfortable enough that I can play
yeah,
with. Like just
exactly.
for pure enjoyment. I loved it so much. It's something really, really fun about getting in a room with your friends and cranking it and like playing together. It's
Exactly,
awesome.
man. I would have described the best way you're saying. It's like that. It's just basically that. To me, it's like the way to communicate. It's a language where you get in the same room with your friends and play some instrument. It's the same we are doing right now, just talking through and just having fun. And music
Oh
is
yeah.
for me, it's like that. It's just get the instrument and play around with your friends and having some fun. At least that was my experience as a drummer in a band. It was basically because my friend, the guitar player and the bass player, they are friends. So basically that, nothing more than that. Just get the instrument and play around, and sudden that become like something serious in a way. So what we're doing there is just playing in the garage, which is thus we should do, showing this what we're doing here. But I think we are doing good. Why not make an album, put it in the internet, do some gigs? And that's what happened. We ended up having some gigs around in Spain, really small, just 50 people, my mom, my grandma, my friends,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
having fun. But it was something special, definitely.
Dude, my son is he's just turned 3, and he, for the last, I would say, 18 months, every day he just started like playing. He took 2 sticks and started banging on stuff, and it got to the point where he was doing it every day, all day, on every kind of surface and toy, or inside, outside, doesn't matter. He just didn't stop. And then about a year ago, we bought him a drum kit because we were like, we
Nice.
can't kind of ignore this. And it's amazing what he's doing now. Nobody's showing him, nobody's pushed him. My daughter, who's a bit older, she was exposed to music in the same way, but she hasn't responded like he's responded. He is obsessed. Like we were in the car today listening to, I don't know who it was. It was like the Chili Peppers or something, and then like a solo would come on, And he
Yeah.
would ask, he's 3 years old, and he's like saying like, "Oh, daddy, what's that noise?" And it's like the solo, or he'll hear like a bass line that, and he's picking out the individual instrument, which is just incredible. It's
Yeah.
absolutely,
It,
it's amazing.
it's something, right? I mean, those kids, they are picking up certain stuff where nobody told them to do, or they are not influenced by something in surround. So
Yeah.
they naturally come out with that. That is something definitely. It's something like I also from my side is pretty weird. I never been interested about music until I don't know 18, 20s, and then I just to pick it up. Oh wow, I'm listening to this music and again. Uh, but it's true that for my side, it's like I pick it up, the drawings thing. It's just going mental since I was 3 years old, 4 years old. That's my mom told me. Like, Carlo, you were straight away just getting the pen and painting all day long. You
Wow.
wouldn't be able to
Wow.
talk, but you were drawing cars all the time. So the way you describe your kids, like something like it, I'm pretty sure it took you a surprise. Like, well, what are you doing with 3 years old doing the drummer things where nobody told you to do that? So
Yeah.
it's yeah, definitely something like it drives me nuts. To when I see a kid doing some stuff, I wonder always that's because the environment influence or it's because they pick up because naturally came out.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's sometimes it can be either or it can be both. And I think that but there's something like with him, there's definitely something going on there for sure. And but my daughter as well, like, I mean, like you were talking about, she's super creative, and she will also just, she the stuff that she's drawing and making and like cutting and pasting, she turns 6 next month. And also, just like, nobody showed her, nobody told her, she'll just go and she'll occupy herself for hours just making stuff. And it's incredible. It's
Amazing,
really, really inspiring.
amazing. Yeah, definitely.
So, Carlos, so you always was it always cars that you were drawing, or was it everything?
Yeah, I think it's depend of the period of my childhood. Sometimes it was in a year in a row just cars. Sometimes depending because I've been influenced about on the 90s, movies and TV show. They were big. I still big, but back in the day it was the TV, and it was always influenced by the TV. In that moment, it was anime, which is a Japanese series like a Dragon Ball or
Yeah,
what's it
yeah.
called? Do you know Dragon Ball? It's a
Dragon Ball Z, yes,
yeah, Z,
yes.
yeah. Or I don't remember in English how to say that, but it was a kind of all this kind of a Japanese series. So it was also huge for me, study and drawings, Japanese style anime. At the same time, it was a kind of depending. Sometimes it was cars, sometimes it was human anatomy, or sometimes it was a anime style. Sometimes it was comic. So always in the end was drawing. Me closing my room, just drawing. It was pretty nuts and obsessing about that. And then as soon as I move on um, to school, I pick up the art school because I thought it could be a good idea. It made sense. I'm drawing all the time. My family said, "Carlos, you're doing drawing all the time. Why not study art? Maybe you can just do a living by art. Who knows?" And I don't want to. I don't know if I should go in with this, explaining my background. I don't want to
Yeah,
bore.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, listen. Why don't you just let's go. Let's start with like present day. Like, what exactly are you doing today, and what do you do? What is your specialism?
That's a really good question, man. Because the last 2 years have been crazy. It is
I
super crazy for me.
I can see.
It's something like it's been, my career has been swapping in different roles and different companies. So it's a big question right now. What I want to do, I don't know. I can tell you what I'm doing right now. Is basically
Yeah.
I'm involved in the series in Netflix. Do you know Love, Death and Robots? Was the last season?
Yes. I've s-
They
I've seen
actually
it. I haven't.
they released the latest season a few weeks ago. So I'm doing the third season for one episode as a lighting supervisor somehow, kind of a
Wow.
DP or a director of photography in CGI, which is something kind of weird. So basically, I'm the right hand from the director to supervise all the final look of the film to make sure everything is aligned what the director wants. So this is my basically my rule since January. So since January to now, I have another 3 months of work. Yeah, I'm doing that. Just wake up in the morning, checking all the emails, having a lot of talk with all the supervisors, all the team, checking all the renders. That's what I do right now, which is something totally opposite what I've been doing so far. Because so far I've been involved in more like a product design and renders, more like a towards to photography, advertising, car rendering, configurator rendering, all this kind of a product. But since this year started, like going crazy. I don't know. I don't know what to do, to be honest. I'm this kind of a weird situation where should I go with something like automotive hardcore, or should I go something like more cinematic CGI theme, working with films and series. I don't know. It is kind of a mess I have right now.
And all the ColorSponge stuff is just like your pure own enjoyment stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's only portfolio jobs and passion project. That's it. It's something like people used to ask, like, all this is just a company. It's just only one guy. Yeah, obviously it's just me. And the other hand is like I don't used to show any commercial work because my personal preference about how I see my work is something like
Yeah.
it's difficult for me to explain it. I don't want to sound like a dickhead, or pretentious. But since I started doing CGI, it's something like drive me nuts. I'm working for a client, and then I'm working with the client, and always in the end there's a result. I'm not happy to show them. So that's why I'm in type portfolio. It's just passion project. I don't want to show my commercial
Yeah.
because I'm not happy with. So I started like this, and then I was like, well, in one day I'm gonna release my commercial work when I'm happy with. So hopefully maybe in 5 years or in 10 years, I don't know. But
Ah.
until
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
get the happiness of my work, I'm never gonna show it. So it's been almost 15 years. I never show a commercial work. 15
Wow.
years. So I mean, it's, don't get me wrong. I'm happy with the work I'm doing. I'm happy working with client, but it's something like I don't know. I feel like this is not my work. I'm doing just a monkey work. I don't know if that the expression, like I'm just doing what the director said or the whatever client said, just basically translating what's going on. I never. Always I put my thought as well. I help to the client to get the maximum quality, throwing some ideas and helping to the client to get them the best result. But I never feel like that is mine. So I don't feel the right way to show it. I'm doing this. I'm just basically I'm CG artist, but I feel like I have more to show. So that's why I'm doing just personal project because that. Yeah.
How much of your time do you get to allocate to your personal stuff?
Yeah, that a lot more than I should do. It's
Okay.
yeah, it's something like it's a hobby for me. Right now is really intense since I moved to UK 4 years ago. Before move to UK was kind of okay, to just getting the weekends and working my portfolio. But since I moved to UK, I'm going crazy. Like after work, I do my personal work every single day, almost 3 4 hours. Imagine that I finish at 8 p.m. I walk out with my dog. I was something don't work out, and then take a dinner, and then another 3 hours of personal work until get exhausted and get go to the bed. So that is my routine every single day, almost the last 4 years. So maybe you notice my portfolio is just keep growing really quickly because that routine of non-stop to but it's something like it's coming out naturally. It's not something like I'm stressed out or something like a a rule or something like obligated to do it. It just came out naturally because I have so much drive to do it. Like I'm running out of time to do it. Or what I want to do, I don't have time. Just get it out, just pushing. It's something crazy, man. Yeah, basically that.
I understand the mindsets and the passion about it. I mean, especially if it's basically it's what you're doing is your hobby. It's something that you do for enjoyment, and especially when you're doing it for your own in your own capacity where there is no compromise with the client, it changes the whole feeling of the project, right? Because you make every single decision and you don't need to justify it to anybody.
Yeah, that's the total freedom, but in the same time is tricky, managing your own expectation, managing to your own demons, your own insecurity is there. It's just raw. It's like I feel like I be on the cliff or right on the edge and before jump. I feel that when I want to release some job, I'm spend 2 weeks before release the job. I finish everything, all the renders is set up. I place it in the folder ready to go, but I'm not releasing until 2 weeks or 1 month of study. What I'm doing here, what is this? Every single day I wake up, open that folder with the latest job, and just checking how it looks like, how my brain reacts, how I feel about this job. Is legit, it's good, I feel proud of it. So I I'm making sure this work is good. So answering your question is easier for sure. I don't have any rules, but at the same time, it's way trickier. It's really tricky to feel proud of what I'm doing. It's just sometimes it's tough. It's really tough to pull up a work. I'm my worst enemy for sure. Always I'm trying to get my best. It's in next job I'm gonna be better. If I don't feel I'm improving, I feel awful. Like what I've been doing here. Just stop it and thinking what I'm doing and then improve it. I'm trying to think the way to improve your job. It could be technically, could be because your fundamentals, because I don't know, speaking about photography or colors, it's quite easy to get in that rule of produce and pulling out a lot of renders and moving forward because I love this. But you have to stop and think what it means this. I'm doing again the same card and changing the color. What is the point of this? I know you're having fun, but what is the point? What do you want to achieve with this? Just going through have fun? So this is kind of a gray area where you don't know what you're doing with your spare time. Yeah, you're having fun, like playing video games. But what you take from here? It's just having fun. It seems like a waste of time, depending on point of view. This kind of fighting in my head all the time, working in my own workflow. I'm not sure if that makes sense, or I'm.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. I'm soaking everything in, but I totally understand it, and I mean, I don't even know where to start. I've got so many questions for you, and I just want to kind of make it contextual for everybody else to kind of get the most out of it. But if I look, the stuff that you do is it's absolutely it's flawless. Like I can't. It's clear that you are not just throwing a model into a render engine and pressing render and publishing, and rendering is a real dark art, and I think that a lot of people completely misunderstand how hard it is to get the quality of whether it be a still or an animation that you are getting, for example, or people like Ash Thorpe or whoever else. I want to start with, what is it that you studied? Or did you study, Carlos?
Oh man, I didn't study at all anything. I finished my art school, and then that's it. I just jump into my own knowledge, just getting internet and try to learn from people, getting experience based in working with companies as a graphic designer, motion grapher, and that's it. I stopped to study at 22 because I failed my degree as a graphic designer. I failed my graphic designer degree because I was working already as a graphic designer, so I couldn't make the amount of hours they demand. So I couldn't make it because I was working already as a graphic designer. So since then, it's been like this, like a rolling and jumping different work because I was interested towards to graphic designer, also motion grapher, and then CGI, working in architecture, doing architecture world and animation, and then working with advertising photographer, just this kind of a collaboration in advertising in Spain. So I didn't study at all. It just set off going through and jumping around. That's it.
That is absolutely mind blowing. I did do a bit of LinkedIn stalking, and I was like, I have a funny feeling that he didn't fucking study at all, and I was gobsmacked.
But we have plenty information on internet. It's crazy the amount of people super handy and helpful, willing to help and putting a lot of information. So we are in the right moment, in the right era where all the information is there. We just need to, the only tricky part is to make the right question in Google. I don't know what happened to you where I'm searching certain stuff, but if you don't put the right word, you don't have the right answer. So that drives me nuts sometimes when I'm trying to find some kind of a small trick or a small tools or a small answer about something. I get stuck in CGI, maybe some render is crashing. I don't know why that render is telling me like some plugin is not working. I'm gonna search about that plugin, put in Google and no answer at all. And then a friend of mine said, Carlos, you put the wrong word. It's just putting this, and the answer is there. I just, oh fuck. I spent an hour to find out the right answer. It was in front of me. So yeah, I'm one of those guys where I get lucky. I didn't need to study. I just straight away jump in graphic design and start to work and do a living for this.
But Carlos, like you said, I with regards to asking the right question, the whole visualization thing is like such a complex subject because there's so many different things that you essentially need to learn to be successful at it. And so I'm kind of overwhelmed with the things that I could ask you, but maybe the best thing is to start off with asking you what it is that you started with. What did you start learning in the beginning? Was there one particular software package that you learned?
The thing is that I started.
If we talk, but talking specifically about CGI though, not graphic design, but CGI.
Yeah, because I'm being learning from the beginning as a human being, just learning about everything, and everything is in the right place and that super use of information, since photography, graphic design, composition, CGI, everything is such a pack. It helps you to pull out the best image you can. So, but in terms of a CGI, it's something weird because I was at home doing graphic design, and a friend of mine came to my room and said, Carlos, you know what? I have this CD-ROM, CD with, it was a letter say 3D Max on top. So my friend said, Carlos, people is doing cars with this. So I know you're doing painting, but people is doing three-dimensional car with this program. It was 3D Max on the top. I was like, oh really? I just give me that. So I spent 2 years learning from myself about 3D Max. I don't know, this program software, 3D Max?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So imagine from my point of view, I'm talking about on the early 2000. So it wasn't really internet, at least in my house. We didn't have internet. So I bought a massive book like this, that thick, about 3D Max. It was a literary translation from English to Spanish, which just doesn't make any sense. Just click the button here on the right and then make a box, get the box on the edit poly, and then mixing word in English and Spanish. So I was like, oh man. So to be able to build a simple scene with a camera, a light, and a sphere, that took me weeks. So that was my first approach on CGI. Step up in 3D Max, reading a massive chunky book like this, and just fighting for myself, try to keep up on that, because it's something like right now people get frustrated because in an hour they don't get the result. So I was spending a week to get a result. I mean, I'm talking about a week in that summer for a 16 years old guy, which is me. So imagine in a week I didn't have any result, just crap, just a black thing, a weird lighting, weird polygons, awful. It was really struggle. Where in the other hand, I have Photoshop. I was drawing. So what's the point to do stupid boxes rather than doing already a nice drawings? So what is the point? So I get a little bit lost on that in CGI. So I stop it when I study graphic design. So I didn't get the point about 3D Max, all this stuff, because also I knew there are another program more official for cars, industrial design. It was a Rhino. I think it's the Rhino. That's the
Rhino, yeah. But people
yeah.
still use it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is quite old, right? Maybe I'm talking bullshit, but I think it seems like it was 2000-ish. It was the Rhino.
Yeah. It's been around. I mean, it's been around for a long time. I don't know when it was introduced, but it was certainly around at that time for sure.
Yeah. So I took it like a 3D Max. It was like that's a toy. I don't think people is doing cars with that. So I never. In that time, I didn't get that seriously. 3D Max. It was more like just for experimenting, more like a mixing animation, motion grapher, After Effects, mainly that. But always it wasn't my background, 3D Max. But all of a sudden, it started to appear like a more easygoing because internet improved. It was YouTube channels. It was kind of all these helps in website, forum. So it was easy to pick up all the information on 3D Max, and then came out with the V-Ray thing, render engine. So all of a sudden it just appeared, all the information. It was really easy and super fun to do. But yeah, basically always being like this, my workflow, always keep it up on tools is really important for sure. Try to, improve your efficiency and workflow. But yeah, this is it, man. This is basically me just going through with all the knowledge we have on front and try to pick up and make the right question and get the right information. Sometimes it could be from people that is tricky. That's super important as me as well, because I'm working with the right people in your side. You learn a lot. I'm super helpful to always having in my career brilliant artists and brilliant technical guys willing to help and showing some tricks. And to me, that is the best way to learn. You be in your own room fighting with internet, yeah. But if you're sharing room with people, oh man, that's a whole new level.
At what point did you get into a professional situation with other people where you could learn from?
It's when I finish when I fail graphic design degree. In that time, I was already, as I told you, working as a graphic designer. So that was the time where I was started sharing knowledge with seniors and also juniors. I was even a junior. I was like a fucking idiot just trying to do something in Photoshop, and so that's one of those where it helped you really really hard. It's just you realize you are really behind of everything. People is just getting track and doing some work, and you to just pressing buttons. You don't know what's going on around to you. So that
Yeah.
is super valuable, sharing space with people. And that was my first experience working as a graphic designer, sharing room with people with 16 years old. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Carlos, with regards to CGI, was it very much the whole picture that you were focusing on, or were you looking at modeling, or were you looking more at the visualization aspect of CGI?
I I take it straight away to rendering and lighting and shader. Never as a modeling hardcore or animation. I got it clear since the beginning. I'm doing 3D Max. Obviously, I've been doing modeling because I need some model to render. I need shader because I need
Yes.
some shader to render. So I managed to learn all the process of CGI because I want to render in the end. It was funny though because I'm spending months to build something modeling, doing weeks on shader, and then the end of the process I'm sick of it of that. So I don't want to render anymore. So it's like I lost the point of I want to render, but I don't want to do my render of this crap I'm doing. So I want to render something else. So yeah, always I got it clear. I want to focus in rendering in final products. I guess because it's coming from my obsession to perfection on reality. Always I've been focusing hyperrealism since I was a kid. I remember doing some drawings, trying to make a car, a side view, a car. I get super pissed. I'm talking about 5 years old, 7 years old. My mom told me, like, how do you get
Yeah.
so pissed? Because you wouldn't make it the way you want to do it. So you were super pissed. So nobody can talk to you because you are so pissed because your car drawing is not good enough for you. So that was my kind of a frustration. I guess that frustration is still on me in more in manageable way. I can manage my anger for myself, but definitely something like that is an obsession for me. Getting the point where all right, this is hyperrealism. Now I can move on and do something else. I can tweak it. I can transform it. I can play with the hyperrealism. So until then, I was always willing to what is hyperreal, what is super real, what it means that, what how I can achieve this. So I guess it's a kind of a common thing for CG artists. First of all, try to get the hyperrealism, and then you can just move on. Some people just get in that level because it's quite cool. It's so much fun. Get there something real, something the quality is real. That's that's amazing feeling.
What program are you using now, for example? Like to create the images that we see now on your Instagram account. What programs are you using to create those images?
Uh, I'm thinking because I have already kind of a bunch of tools, mainly 3D Max, 3D Max for modeling,
Yes.
where I feel comfortable,
Okay.
and then I'm rendering in V-Ray. That's the main tool I've been using for 15 years. Uh, the suddenly I'm using more Corona rendering. I feel super comfortable with that engine.
You have to excuse my simpleness now with Corona. Is that a plugin for V-Ray?
No, it's kind of a similar render engine as V-Ray. It's like let's say the competence of V-Ray, which is not because the same company is Chaos Group. So
So it's a standalone
yes,
rendering
no, yeah,
rendering program. Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
do you? But are you saying you use both of those things, or you just use one or the other?
I think it depends of the job. For example, right now in the Netflix thing, I'm using Arnold and Houdini. I'm doing collaboration with Arthop. I'm doing cinema for the Corona, and then for my own work, I'm doing 3D Max and V-Ray, also Corona. So I'm just just jumping around of different programs, depending of the job. The whole I feel. I don't know if it's just too many software around, but yeah, that's basically my pipeline is kind of quite wide, quite open. Also now I'm willing to learn Unreal because it's becoming massive. It's a must.
Fucking hell. I don't know how you do all that shit. I mean, what how much time are you spending in post production on those images, for example? I mean, you so that you create the image in with, let's say, for example, in Corona, and then it comes out. Are you then spending a bunch of time in Photoshop polishing it up as well?
I'm laughing because I used to get that question. The thing is, I always work in beauty. Beauty, that means only one render. That's it. I don't want to go through too many iteration on Photoshop or color grade. So obviously I'm applying a lot of post production, but comparing with the rest of the people and workflow, it's just tiny. Basically, I don't. Basically, my workflow is like if my raw render doesn't look right, I'm not gonna move on to post production at all. I need to feel like the raw render, it feels already quite close to photographic feeling, and then I'm just doing some small tweaking in Photoshop, some contrast, color grade, and that's it. I don't want to mess around with layers and paths or ambient occlusion or all this fancy stuff. No, it's not for me. I like to think like my render has to feel like I'm right there in the right place, taking the camera and shooting. I want to feel that. If I don't feel it, all right, I'm doing something wrong. I have to start over again.
So how long would you spend on one image from start to finish, including like, can you just break down the rendering time and post production, for example?
Yeah, just depends. Sometimes, for example, I can do an image which is full CGI, and then we have a background, right? So imagine we have a desert and we have the car. All right, let's do that. So I would say like a week. It could be the CGI stuff, and then another week for post production. But that week, the last week of post production, doesn't mean I'm working crazy doing some layers of stuff. Or I'm just because for me post production is super delicate, sensitive in a way. So I never get happy my first attempt, my first color grade I'm doing. Always I feel like nah, and then I just leave it. Maybe I'm working 1 hour of post production of that and just leave it. I close the file. I just move on to something else because I feel like at least my brain, my eyes get used to it about the image. So I feel like I get lost really quickly about what I'm doing. So I need to stay away and come back later with fresh eye and say, all right, well, what I did yesterday is is awful. Well, what I'm doing so much red or so much blue. Oh man, what a mess. Let's start again. So I spent another week just to make right the color.
Okay.
It's something I learned from people working with retouchers. To me they have a special gift on images. They are crazy, so crazy good. Like I have so much envy of these people. They can manage colors. Like, oh man, they.
But you've got that. You fucking got that.
No,
you've got that.
No, to tell you, I'm tiny in front of these people. I just no, man. Really, I'm working with professional in colors. Oh man, I'm just messing around. No. Really, these people can transform your render, your crap render, in something like amazing. Something like I'm not able to do because I'm not retoucher. I just, passing through renders, some doing color grade on top. That's it. I leave the render. But these people, oh man, I've been working with one of the best retouchers in the world, so I can tell they are magicians. Like they are amazing. So I feel always working with these brilliant minds. I feel like tiny. I feel like I'm I'm not good enough. Well, it's kind of I'm taking this as an amazing feeling. I don't feel down working with amazing people. The opposite. I feel more encouraged, more like oh man, I have to keep it up. I need to improve. These people, they are super good. So if they can do that, maybe I can do that as well. This kind of a competition feeling is coming out from me as well. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, absolutely. I mean, did you always respond to it because that's quite a positive way to respond to it. Have you always been like that?
Yeah,
Or
always.
is that something? Okay.
Always. I never feel down because someone's work is amazing. The opposite, I feel, wow, man, you're a fucking genius. I want to learn from you, man. So this kind of community things, I got it always in my workflow. When I come to my place, a new place to work with people, yeah, I love that. It's just amazing. It's something like I've been around always. I had lucky in my career, just always sharing the place with the amazing artists, so I can learn a lot. So my end result is because I've been learning from people. So taking small pieces here and there. Oh, that's a nice clever. That's a nice trick. That one, that's amazing. And then practicing and putting together in my own way. That's to me is, yeah. I'm just lucky to have that. Yeah.
Carlos, are you like with for example with like texturing and wrapping and shaders? Do you create your own, or do you use kind of off the shelf, or is it a combination?
Oh man, I'm laughing because
Is it a secret? Is it?
I'm laughing because I used to do something really stupid. You're gonna be no, I can't be like that. I'm gonna say yes. I'm doing this. So normally people, CGI artists, they do a library of shaders. So imagine I'm doing a car, so I develop a car paint. So I'm gonna save that car paint for the next project. So I don't need to do it again. But I never save my shaders. Always I'm building from scratch, all the time. So which doesn't make sense. But I
Still
know.
now?
Yeah. I'm still doing it now. So, I mean, it's something like I love it. I love doing that because I don't trust in my previous work, in my previous shader. I don't trust them. Like that could be improved. I'm gonna try to improve because I know how I did it. So I'm gonna do it again because it's gonna be better. I know how to improve it.
And what is the process involved building your own shaders? What is it? What are you doing to make a shader?
It's something like imagine. It's something like my family told me like, oh Carlos, for example, my mom or my grandma, oh Carlos, that's a beautiful car. So what do you do there? What are you do here? Which is you are doing everything, you are painting, so they don't know what CGI means. So obviously I had to explain them. Well, I'm taking that preset of shaders, which is a car paint, putting in a car, I'm just making some adjustment. So maybe more reflection, less reflection, more transparent, or blah blah blah, more specular. They are like, oh yeah, I got it. So but basically the machine is doing that for you. You're not doing that. So okay, no, I mean I'm have the control to swap, the reflection or the specular. But in the end, it's the machine, it's not you. Yeah, well, I'm placing the lighting here. So yeah, but that lighting, who made that lighting? I was like, well, the program. So you're not doing the lighting. No, technically no, I'm not doing. So explain that is super difficult. So trying to answer about your question, it's like the process of a shader. Basically I'm starting from some preset. Imagine, let's say car paint, right? So I get the bunch of nodes and nodes around where imagine you have the specular, you have the flakes of the car paint, you have the code.
Yes.
So I'm getting kind of a really simple preset and then start to connecting all together. So if you see my screen, you see, imagine that it could be kind of the stack of levels. So we have the specular metal, we have the flakes, and we have the code. So basically in the shader, it working in the same way. It's just plugging some preset. All right, that's the metallic, that is the flakes, that is the code, and that's it. It's that pretty much that for every single material. So that is the process of shader.
And then are you finding an image, like a reference image of a car, and saying like, I love that and I want to replicate that? Do you do that, or is it usually just you do stuff by feeling?
No. Definitely, it's a workflow. It's a methodical workflow I have. I spend every single day. The first thing I do, get my coffee, open my browser, I just going through with the trend of photographers, CGI pages, just going through whatever is coming out from inspiring me to pick up those pieces where I like. So imagine it's a photographer doing a beautiful photo for a car, saving that as a reference because I love the carving, or I love the wheels, I love the lighting. So I have some specific folder where I organize my reference and my inspiration folder. So always I work in reference, always something like I can grab it. I know the reality how it should look like. I'm gonna try to replicate that 100%. So that's basically my workflow all the time.
Okay, so that ends up becoming kind of your roadmap. Like if ever you find yourself going around in circles, you always trying to achieve this a replication of reality, basically.
Yeah, that's to me is the fundamental, because I don't trust my brain, my eyes, because if I get isolated, just focusing my own screen pixels, I learned that from experience. I get so into it, like I lost the sense of reality and what is reality for me means, or for people. So maybe I'm working something it's working really well for me, but then after 1 month later, coming back again as a fresh eye, fresh mind, see my previous work, what the fuck is doing? What is that? This is totally opposite what reality means. So if my goal is replicate hyperrealism, yeah, I have to get some track where I can check all the time. For example, I have my left monitor, my right monitor. On my right monitor, I have all the reference. I can checking all the time what reality means. That's, yeah.
And with things like tires, for example, are you are you using textures mapping for those sort of things? How does that work?
Good question. Just sometimes depend of the model I have. So if I have a really good model, 3D model tire, so we have all the details in geometry. So I work with a procedural way where I don't work with maps. It's just straight away from V-Ray tools or Corona tools where give me some details based in geometry information. But in the other hand, I could have a really low, not really low, but just low poly where it's based on texture. That is when I come in and it's just painting or doing some texture, especially for that tire, doing some wrapping and UVs. So the kind of a two approach, or really good model, three-dimensional tire, or just painting texture. Yeah, I basically painting texture is the best result I get, because from 3D model they are super difficult to get, or you can model from scratch, which is a lot of pain. I don't want to go through that. I used to buy models from internet, three-dimensional, or I build tire from scratch, where I don't mind to do that, because in terms of modeling is quite easy. The tricky part is painting the texture. So I don't mind to paint texture and spending hours. That's really fun to do. So that's kind of
and how do you, what is that process, painting? Is that something you do in Photoshop?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, people ask about this new tool. It calls Substance. It's been for a while in the market. It's amazing. Right. It's crazy good. But maybe
Substance Painter.
Substance Painter. Maybe because I'm old school, my head is maybe struggled yet. It's still kind of a struggle to get the Substance Painter tool in my workflow. I use it sometimes. It's good, but it's taking me ages to get fluid in this workflow with Substance Painter. But I think it's coming along. It's step by step and getting better and better on Substance Painter. But at the moment, I feel a little bit clumsy, to be honest. Why are you laughing?
No, because I can't. I mean, I think everybody to some degree are are generally can be critical of themselves, especially if you are trying to achieve greatness. And I just, when I look at your work and you say, I feel clumsy, it makes no sense to me at all. So that's why I laugh.
All right. No, man, really, trust me. I've been working with amazing artists. I'm just a I'm just a mess, man. I'm trying my best, that's for sure. I'm not really efficient, but just comparing myself with people I mean work with, yeah, I just sometimes I feel like I'm cheating. I don't know. I feel like I'm not legit. I'm not doing right. I just basically going through with programs. I don't give a shit about the tools. I don't give a fuck
You
about.
you can say fuck if you want. It's not a
All right, all right,
problem.
all right, cool. Sorry if I'm saying too much. Um,
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. But
it,
Carlos, yeah, carry on.
no, go on.
Are you into photography at all? Car photography, for example.
Yeah, I had lucky because my graphic designer um, course it was kind of a few hours a day was photography. It was a um, what's it called? Uh, it's not it's not organic. What's it called? It's not digital.
Ah,
Digital
yes, yes, analog. Yeah.
analog photography.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, I had lucky because I had a really good teacher on photography. They show us the fundamental of photography. So it was a period of time I was also with my camera, just shooting around, understanding what exposure means, what is the what's it called, ISO means, all this kind of technical stuff photography.
Yes.
I could make my head around. It was super useful. I never thought it could be that important for my job, but in the end result, I feel like I also I'm lacking of knowledge on photography. So it's something like I got in my mind like damn, I need to get the camera and shooting more because it's something like I needed for my job. Also because it's super fun as well. But